Good day. My name is Teresa Fredericks from Growing Businesses Using Projects, bringing you yet another video, this time on Microsoft Project. We are assigning resources and determining costs. This is a worked example from the Tutorials to the Beginners series. You are encouraged to download the example and to follow along with us. So let's get started. The agenda, we're going to be looking at the various types of resources, work material and costs. We're going to be assigning resources in MS Project in different ways. We're going to be determining cost of tasks, and we are going to determine cost of resources and putting in resource notes. So let's start. So let's take a look at the resources. Resources can be work. Under this, you have people, equipment, and facilities that are assigned in the completion of a task. You can name people in various ways. For instance, you can use their name, Thomas Smith, their title, procurement specialist, group laborers. People have limited time. They could work either 6, 8, or 12 hours. Equipment can undertake short or long duration work for 24 hours, have maintenance breaks, and can be used by more than one resource. So what about material? Physical goods or other inputs required to complete a task. For example, you may have paint and you're using that in the house to paint the house. All right, material are consumables used by the work resources. It also includes nails. It is used to track a fixed quantity or rate of consumption. They have labels, can be measured. For example, 4 reams of paper and have a per unit cost. The units of measure is an important gauge. Then you have cost. Other costs, such as overhead or travel expenses, that are involved in the completion of the task. You do not enter the cost value in your resource sheet. You enter the cost value of a resource only when you assign it to a task. So let's assign resources. To get back to the Gantt chart view, we can just right click and we're in the Gantt chart view and we're going to start assigning resources. There are several ways to assign resources. We can right click and there's the assign resources here. We can go into resources and we can get to the assign resources here. We can right click here and you can go into the task form and you can assign resources here. We can double click and we can bring up the task information box and you can assign resources here. No, we are not finished. There's a resource column. So if you don't see it, just bring this across and you see there's a resource column. So we're going to start off using the resource column to assign resources. So let's start assigning resources using the resource column. All right, so you're clicking into the task and you're looking for the resource. You're told case S, which is Kim Smith. You put that, it is reflected here. Order equipment, you are told is JN and AC. AC is here, JN is here, and you realize it is being entered on both sides. Let's use another method. Hire wiring contractor. We are going into details and we are bringing up the split view because we want to assign using this task detail form. So hire wiring contractors, you are told is JN. Now because you click on it, it will come up as the name. You're looking here for JN to assign resources and it is AC again. Austin Charles, you click OK and it's assigned there. Then we come, the good thing about this one, you can move from task to task. So now you're in receive equipment and you're being told receive equipment again is JN and AC. And you click OK and it's assigned. Let's use another method. To come out of the split view, you just go up to details and you click and it will return to the Gantt chart view. So now we are in pre-install wiring. We're going to double click and bring up the task information form. We go into resources. Resource name, who are we looking for? It's pre-install wiring. Pre-install wiring is the contractor, FGH Electrical. And here you don't put in units, you put in cost. But for this task, they are being paid 35,000. So you put that in. And you can go on because it is also JN. So you're looking for JN, Neptune, and you're putting it here. And when you go here, you realize the electrical for 35,000 and Neptune is entered on both sides. But I forgot about, we have to go back to receive equipment, because receive equipment, we did not put in the equipment. So all we have to do, we can go into the task form, so you double click the task form, will come up, you realize Neptune and Charles are here, but we didn't put equipment. So again, equipment is a cost, and no, equipment is material, and it was $12,000 for one unit, and we want 6 units. You could either type it in or use the lever and you put it in. So let's just check and see what has happened. You realize 72,000 was allocated in cost. Nothing for Charles because he's not being in cost. So the costs are coming up. All right. So then we have installed PCs. Now we are going to use a different method to install PCs. We are going to use the assign resources box. So because we are on install PCs, the task is called install PCs. And install PCs, you have the technical team, and you've been told it's 300. All right, so you click assign, and they assign and their costs appear. And you are told Jim Bradley, the consultant, and he's 15% because he's not there whole day. And you click assign, and his cost comes up. And you have JN again, and you assign that, and that cost comes up. All right. Now with the assign box, you can go from cost to cost, from task to task. So we are now on connect wiring to PC, and we are told again the electrical contractor, and with this they are being paid 20,000. All right, and we are told this is connect wiring. Jim Bradley 15%. So we're going to go here and put 15% for Bradley. Assign. The technical team, connect wiring, we are told is 100. Only one person from the technical team. You click assign. AC, which is the head of department, and JN. And JN will normally, you don't even have to put your 100 because he's 100% so that it would come automatically. So we have the cost of connect wiring. No, we weren't seeing it very well here, so I just used this and reduced so that we could see all that was assigned. Test individuals, we can continue to use the assigned resource sheet. We just have to go to test individual and it comes up here. Test individual PCs, again, you're using the electrical contractor, and here he's getting 5,000. So you click assign. Then you have the technical team, and we are told it's 200. Assign. This is technical. Jim Bradley's 15%. And JN is assigned. So JN is assigned his 100%. Now we're going to connect to network, and connect to network, we're told the technical team, and it's 300%. It's as simple as that. Assign JN, assign AC, assign, and Jim Bradley. And Jim Bradley is a 15% again. Now, let me explain something to you. Assign. And to explain it, what I will do is connect to network. I would go into a different view. So I'm going to come out of here and I'm going to double click and I'm going to go into resources here on task information because I want to explain something to you. We're looking at network tasks. It came up because we clicked on it and we said the technical team, and it's one, and we are saying JN and AC. Now, this task is 2 days. So whatever you click here, it's going to be, it's going to work the it's going to work the per day and then multiply by 2. So you would get the cost. So let us click OK and see what has happened. You realize Neptune and they have calculated the cost over the duration. All right. And we want now to go back to our old view. So we can close here and we could go to acceptance and we could continue. Now that we have assigned resources, let us here we write a note to a task. It's the same way as resources. You could right click and you could either go into information or notes. When you go information, you go to notes and I'm writing this is a note. Click OK and it comes up here. You can see this is a note. Because we put a note in options, you have it here also. Go. So let's see how you get costs in MS Project. You go into view and you go into tables. And what we are on in the Gantt chart view is the entry table. You go to the cost table and now you are able to see the cost of all the different items. The cost of the project, 178,540, and the cost of each individual task. All right. So to get out of the cost table here, and you go back to the Gantt chart view. Now, because we left the Gantt chart view in the Gantt chart cost table, it's on cost. But if we want to get back to the normal one, which is where you enter tasks, you go to the entry view. You go to tables and you go to the entry view. And we are back where we had assigned the resources. And I forgot to show you how we assigned the last two. You can assign it by going into the task information and you realize they are assigned here. All right, or you can right click and go into the assign resources, and because I already put them in, they are assigned here. So the next thing is, how do you put a note to a task? I want to put a note to network test, so I click on it and I go in and I could either use the information or the notes, but let's use the information box. The information box carries a lot of things. You go to notes and I'm saying this is a very important set of tests. And I click OK, and you realize a note comes up here, and when you click over it, you get what the note is. It's an important, very important set of tests. Now, you may be asking yourself the question, how do we know what resources cost? So we're going to click again, and we're going to go to the resource sheet. And we are going to tables again, view tables, and you are going to cost. And you realize you have the cost of each resource over the time. If you like my content, give it a thumbs up and please subscribe.